It's hard to believe, but we are less than 1 month away from the release of MLB The Show 24, and at the time of this recording, we don't know a single thing about Diamond Dynasty, and actually the feature premiere could be coming literally within days that this video releases, so keep that in mind. But I did want to give you guys some predictions for things within Diamond Dynasty that I think we definitely could see this year from MLB The Show 24. And for more Diamond Dynasty videos, make sure you guys do hit that like and subscribe button. I would appreciate that. Let's not waste any more time and let's go ahead and get into my first prediction. And my first prediction is I think sets will not return in MLB The Show 24 Diamond Dynasty. And I say this because of all the discourse within the community about sets and just the overall disapproval that most people had with it. Now, I'm not speaking for everyone. I know some of you might like it, not putting words in your mouth in any way, but I'm just saying in general, by the end of the year, I just don't think many people were pleased with the new content structure that we got in MLB The Show 23. And for all the crap that we give SDS, I do think that they do listen to the community. We saw a bunch of changes to program structures last year when a lot of people complained about the programs just being the exact same grind over and over again. And then we saw, SDS bring back Team Affinity to MLB The Show 23, which a ton of people within the community were upset that Team Affinity was not in MLB 22. So they clearly listen to us and take some feedback to a certain degree at least. And just with how polarizing the new content structure this year was with sets, I just don't think they can run it back with sets the exact way it was set up this year with just, the amount of people, like we said, that were upset with how it went in MLB The Show 23. Maybe they could bring back sets, but tweak things to give us less restrictions. So that is certainly a possibility as well. I think if they bring back sets, they would do that. They would make some tweaks to basically just, we're not as restricted because that was the part that upset people the most. But again, I kind of think sets are not going to return. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's get into my second prediction, which I think we're either going to get a new parallel system or there's going to be a way to upgrade cards by completing certain missions. So starting off with the parallel system, I think this is definitely a possibility because the current parallel system just has been in place for a while, has stayed the exact same too, where obviously we know that at each parallel you go up, that card gets a +1 to all their attributes across the board. And it feels like they could do a lot more with parallels. And one direction they could go with this is at each parallel, maybe instead of just +1 attributes across the board, maybe you still get that, but you also unlock like a special ability, special boost, something like that. And like all of these boosts would be different from each other for the most part. So, that would also help just create more variety of cards because a lot of the time, a lot of these cards feel the exact same. I don't know. There's not much that separates all of these cards from each other, in my opinion, at least. So I think giving them all these different special abilities, would help, just differentiate some of these cards from each other. Or like I said, they could also add a way to upgrade cards. And I haven't played 2K My Team in a while, but I know My Team at least used to have something, I still think they do, where basically you hit certain milestones with that card and you get attribute boosts. And you can start, so like in MLB, for example, if you hit certain, milestones, whether it's like home runs, whatever, certain amount of home runs, certain amount of extra base hits, whatever it is, you could start, with a gold card, and you could upgrade that card all the way up to like a high overall diamond. I think something like that would make grinding a little more, a little more purposeful. It would be a lot more fun, in my opinion. It would keep people on the game, right? So I think, that would maybe create less burnout. I don't know. Maybe that would create more. I'm not sure. But I think that would be a really good idea. And I think some people would point out captains are supposed to have this effect on cards. But I think you can keep captains while still giving us a new way to grind cards, upgrade them, giving them different abilities or, like I said, but starting with a gold card, having the ability to upgrade it up to like a high overall, 99 overall, maybe not a 99, but like a 95, whatever it might be. I think that's a really good idea as well. And I could just see some of these changes happening because the current parallel system has been really the same for quite some time now. But then moving on to my third prediction is I think we're going to see either a new online mode or a completely revamped events mode, which is obviously online. But it's been a while since they made like any meaningful updates to modes like BR, Ranked, and also Events really hasn't changed at all since they added them into the game. So I think if they revamped Events, I think it could be cool if they also, added Events maybe like switch it up and have events where, you know, it's centered around certain situations. Like, for example, you start in extra innings, right? So the new extra inning rule where you got, you know, a runner on second and, you know, tied game, extra innings, each person starts with a runner on second and you just play it out, right? So it's kind of like a situation rather than like, oh, it's a little 3-inning game where, you know, most likely it's going to be moonshot or maybe like one other thing. Like, because it feels like every other event is just moonshot. It just feels lazy in my opinion. And I think they could do a lot more with this. Or they could also just add in a completely new mode to online as well. Like, I know a lot of people bring up Weekend League, which Madden had, you know, bring that to MLB. And I haven't played a ton of Madden when Weekend League was around, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but I know in Madden you could play basically a certain amount of games each weekend against other people, and you get rewarded just based on how you performed, how many wins you ended up with. And this mode typically had some of the better rewards in the game. And I don't know if I explained that well, but someone can correct me if I'm wrong about anything. But I think that could be a really cool idea as well. And I just think we're at a point where online modes, in my opinion, I'm not even a huge online player, but I just see what other people are saying and I agree with them that, you know, something new should come to online and just to get people excited about grinding online. And I think one of those changes that I talked about just now could fix that problem. My next prediction is I think that there's going to be a new feature to make live series cards more usable, and they always, it seems like, are looking for new ways to make live series cards more usable, which will also make them more valuable, and I think giving us a good reason to have these cards in our lineup would help with all of that. But the tricky part is how exactly do you do this, right? So they tried, you know, one way of supercharging. You know, I think that was supposed to help with this, but I think supercharges didn't. You know, they helped the issue. I don't know if they helped the issue that much, but, you know, they obviously didn't fix the issue. They also added in, you know, a few years before supercharges, the boost to attributes of certain players, live series card players, depending on the matchups that player had, you know, in real life. And I think, again, this was probably an attempt to help with the issue. It didn't really solve anything, though. So I think they're still kind of searching for that way to create more value with live series cards. And this past year, especially, since we had a ton of 99s on day one, these live series cards and live series collection cards really did not hold any value after like a month or so when people realized that the Jeter, the Sosa, and the McGuire were just not worth, you know, the millions and millions of stubs that it cost to complete the live series collections, where you could get similar players literally for free or just from grinding like a program of some kind. And to be honest, I don't have a lot of great answers to help solve this problem. Let me know if you guys do, but I just think they will find a way to implement another way to give live series cards more value, and another reason why we should, at least for a while, have these cards in our lineup. Now moving on to my final prediction for Diamond Dynasty, which is I think that the offline program grinds will be a lot better in MLB The Show 24 than it was in MLB The Show 23, because I think they will implement a lot of the positive changes that they started to make to these offline programs towards the end of MLB The Show 23, because I think they got a lot of positive feedback. Like, they started around the career tribute program, as I'm showing you guys right now. You know, they had missions for offline grinding. They had missions for online grinding. They also had some of these optional collection packs. So, you know, if you wanted to put some stubs towards, you know, basically progress in the program, you could do that as well, which wasn't an option before, along with the Showdown and Conquest that were in all of the other ones, you know, earlier ones, because a lot of the earlier ones were literally just the exact same missions, moments, conquest, maybe a showdown, and, you know, repeat, and every program felt the exact same, just with slightly different rewards, and a lot of the time the rewards weren't even worth grinding for. And I feel like they finally started to realize that it's a great thing to have many different ways to complete these programs, not just the one single way to complete these programs. And also making programs that feel a little bit different from each other is a positive as well, which I think ultimately would probably reduce the burnout that we saw people get so early on in MLB The Show 23. I also could see more programs this year similar to the Egg Hunt program like we saw in 23, or, you know, the Halloween programs as well, the Trick and Treat programs, just because I feel like the feedback on those were probably the most positive of all the programs we got last year, and were a little bit just more creative, a little bit more fun and engaging for, you know, people in the community. And again, I feel like they finally started to realize some of these positive changes are just for the best and will make the game more fun, lead to less burnout, and I hope, and I feel like they should continue that into MLB The Show 24. Maybe I'm getting my hopes up. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. And also let me know what you guys hope to see in Diamond Dynasty this year. And, you know, we should be getting a ton of news here very, very soon. We might have it already by the time you guys are watching. But those are my predictions for Diamond Dynasty and MLB The Show 24. Hope you guys did enjoy the video, but that'll be it for this one. Appreciate you guys for watching. See you guys next time. Peace.